So good evening, guys. It's a very good evening. Uh, we want to welcome you all to this evening's, of course, podcast session. We are discussing dealing with criticism. All right. Yeah. So we are discussing dealing with, of course, criticism. So there's going to be, of course, quite a number of discussions. So in the meantime, I'm just going to allow a few minutes to pass so that you guys can share this video. So I'm also adding a link where you can click there to join the conversation. Okay. So may click there, of course, to join the conversation. So that would be wonderful if you guys can quickly join. Yeah. So we'll be discussing dealing with criticism. All right, so there we go. So dealing with criticism. So please feel free to join there, to click there, so that you can join, of course, the conversation. All right. So I'm just going to allow you guys to share the video so that we may get started. Just invite others to join. I will allow a few seconds so that we can get started. So to join, of course, it's an open discussion we're having. We have, of course, a few individuals are going to join us on the screen this evening. So if you want to be part of the participants, you may just click on that link so that you may be able to join the conversation. Of course, that is dealing with criticism. So I'll just be able to play. Of course, I'll just be able to play just some instrument to just allow those others to join us, and then we get it. Okay, so we have somebody. So we have people joining us. So please, just if you want to join the conversation, click on the link and share the video. So we're allowing a few seconds to pass. We have a few participants who are going to come on board. Of course, we have participants who are coming on board so that we may be able to, of course, share knowledge and discuss how to deal with, of course, criticism. So dealing with criticism. So I should be able to share some talk time immediately after this session. In the meantime, I can't share, so I'll be able to share. So, Mr. Malakata, good evening.
Good evening, thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay, good. So, of course, we have Heaven who says, "How are you?" That is Krisha Heavenly. So, guys, I'll be able to share talk time once the session is done. In the meantime, I'm unable to share because we are already live. I was hoping that people would send for me messages before, but I don't receive. So, evening, Heavenly. We are all right. It's good to see that you are there. So, yeah. So our topic at hand, Mr. Manakata, is dealing with criticism. Criticism has brought a lot of businesses down. Criticism has, of course, brought a lot of good ideas down, and of course, criticism has made it possible for a lot of people to lose the zeal that they initially had. So criticism, of course, can never go unnoticed because it is one of the things that has made to most people fail to make it because they feel they are criticized, and because they are criticized, sometimes they want to do something for themselves, but they fail to do it. But again, as a business person, sometimes apart from criticism, we go through what is called stress. So when stress is combined with criticism,
Mm-hmm.
it has a way of affecting our potential to achieve greater heights. It has a way of affecting us, preventing us from being able to achieve that which we wanted to achieve in the first place. So, really, criticism and stress are not a very good combination, especially for somebody who's struggling financially or somebody who's
Yeah.
trying to make it financially. It's difficult because when you criticize, it's like the joy that you had at first has been taken away from you, and now you don't know what to expect. And sometimes human beings naturally, sometimes we may fail to deal with criticism in a positive way. Sometimes we take all criticism as a bad criticism, and then we overreact. That when we overreact, sometimes we fail to see the big picture. So we want to just address the issue of how to deal with criticism in business, but also as a person. How do you react when you are criticized? So I would like us, Mr. Manakata, to begin by also, of course, explaining what is criticism, and also be able to, apart from that one, be able to also explain what is stress. So maybe let me begin by just asking you, Mr. Manakata, what do you understand when you see the word criticism? What comes to your mind? What is criticism? What do you think? Guys, it's an open conversation. Please, if you want to join us, there's a link in the comment. Just click on it. We'll bring on the screen. We can discuss. People are stressed out there. You may just encourage somebody to keep going. People are committing suicide, but because of some are being criticized and also stressed. So I want to just be able to discuss how we can deal with criticism, but also dealing with the stress. So, Mr. Makata, what do you think is criticism? What comes to your mind? What comes to mind? Hello? All right. Looks like we are not able to get him, Mr. Makata. So what we are saying is that criticism and stress are not a very good combination, especially for business. So I want to begin by talking about first the business aspect of criticism. What is the business aspect of criticism? In business, sometimes we are criticized. Personally, I'm a businessman. I'm also a lecturer. I'm a trainer, and I do many things. I interact with people on a daily basis. But one thing I've come to learn, especially from the point of view of being a lecturer, is that you cannot avoid criticism. Sometimes, sometimes people criticize you simply for doing nothing. And of course, sometimes people will criticize you maybe because sometimes they want to see you do better. Yeah. So, for example, I'll give an example. There are some times where you're being criticized for doing the right thing, doing the good thing, and then somebody just criticizes you because what you're doing is right. So criticism can be avoided. All of us at some point are criticized, but what we want to address tonight is how do we deal with the criticism. So guys, I would like you to participate. I would like you to share. I would like you to come on board. There's a link there that we have put on the comments that you can just click and come on board. We can address this issue of course, criticism and how it can be dealt with. So, if you have experienced criticism, I would like you to come on board and be able to share how we're able to deal with it and things like that. So, I want to tell you my own experience as a lecturer. Sometimes, when you lecture students, I lecture different students in different courses. Now, from my experience, you find that sometimes you have two students in the same class. One of them gets 80%, and then the other one from the same class gets 20%. So obviously the one who got 80% is going to appreciate you. They're going to call you, they'll tell you how happy they are that they met you, they will thank you a lot. But on the other hand, sometimes someone who got 20% will criticize you. They will sometimes even take to tell you how they feel they wasted time studying with you and things like that. So sometimes you may be criticized. So at first, when I started doing my work as a lecturer, I would feel sad when a student fails. I would feel bad. I would have my stomach pains. I'll have stress because I feel bad. Somebody's failed the exam. I feel like I didn't do my best, and especially if somebody complained. So with time, I came to learn how to deal with criticism. As a lecturer, I have my good semesters. Sometimes I know this semester I've done my best and my students are going to make it. Then sometimes I know, okay, this semester I've not done much, I had limitations. So all those would stress you. From the point of a lecturer, if you are lecturing students and then you know that you've not done your best, sometimes it can give you a lot of stress. But again, sometimes if you're not careful, that stress also can also bring other complications. It may hinder you from being able to be productive somehow. So what has helped me personally to do with criticism is to just accept that I can't change what has happened, but I can only do something about it next time so they don't repeat the same mistake, or I see where I can improve. Now, I've observed two areas where criticism comes from. There are two sides of criticism. There's what we call constructive criticism, that's from the business aspect, but also there's what we call hateful criticism. So, one thing I've come to learn as a lecturer is that when I'm being criticized, I ask myself one question: is this person criticizing me giving me constructive criticism, or are they giving me hateful criticism? Because sometimes constructive criticism has got to do with you being able to be assisted to improve. Somebody tells you how they feel how they feel you fared, what they feel you may have done right, and how they feel you did. They express themselves. If I told you messed up someone, they tell you. But don't be quick into defending yourself. All right, we have a participant coming on board. Okay, we have Mr. Malakata and we have Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson, I'm unable to bring you on board because your camera is muted. Please allow your camera, and then Mr. Nelson will be able to bring you on board. Thank you so much. So, what we are saying, you have to see where is the criticism coming from. If it's constructive, sit yourself down and ask yourself: is it really true that I messed up? Is it really true that this person deserved to talk to me the way he did talk to me? Is it really true that there's something I could have done to better the situation? So sometimes when you ask yourself personal questions, you're going to see where you may have messed up, be able to see where I need to improve, and be able to see where the other person is coming from. So it's not okay when you are criticized to just ignore, suck it up, and move on. Yeah. Some people say, yeah, just do nothing, say nothing, and move on. It ends there, but it's not all right because subconsciously you'll be affected. There's somebody, the human being somewhere who is not happy with you. We're not saying you have to be overly concerned. What we're trying to see is try and see, is this criticism constructive? Is it helping me, or is it simply hateful criticism? So when it is constructive, be happy, thank the person who is giving the criticism, be able to receive it and work on it. It may not be nice to be criticized, to be honest, not all the time they're going to accept it, but sometimes if you just accept that, okay, let me see what I can do about it, helps you come up with better results. But again, there are some times where you sit down, you ask yourself, is it really true I messed up? Is it really true that this person has the right to come and criticize me? Is it really true that I'm in the wrong here? If you discover actually you're not in the wrong, it's all right. What you simply do is move on. Focus on other important issues. Don't stress yourself with something that is just going to bring you down. So what you're trying to say here is that be able to see from people criticizing you. We're not avoiding criticism. We are encouraging somebody to receive it, but also be kind enough to give it. So as a person, as a lecturer, I've learned to be able to receive criticism. I have hundreds of students every semester. So I know when those out, some of them are going to pass, some of them will not pass, some of them will be happy with you, some of them will be not happy with you. So sometimes if you're not careful, you may be stressed. I've had somebody criticize me for simply helping a person. So I'll say, okay, why is this so hard? Why is it wrong for somebody to just tell me, why are you doing this? Because we helped somebody. But I've also had some people applaud me. If you did a good job there, keep it up, So you have to look at both sides. If you know you're wrong, be humble enough to accept the wrong and see what you can do about it. So we have, of course, we have a guest. We have Mr. Enoch Lusanso. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Lusanso. How are you? Hello, Mr. Lusanso. Good evening. If you want to join the conversation, guys, there's a link in the comments. Just click on it I'm right, thank you. How are you? Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Sorry for joining
Yes.
late.
No, it's all right. It's all right. All right. Thank you so much. So we're discussing dealing with criticism in business and also as a person. I would like to ask you, Mr. Usanso, have you ever been criticized before? All right. Looks like we have a connection problem with Mr. Enoch there. Yeah. So what we are saying that okay, be able to see is it constructive or is it hateful? But if it's hateful criticism, ignore it. Don't focus on people who are going to just bring you down. All right. So the reason why some people find it hard to do with criticism is also having an inflated view of yourself. When you feel like you're the best, when you feel like your way is the perfect way, you will not take lightly if anybody comes on board to criticize you. So what has helped me to also do with criticism to have a balanced view of myself, but also a balanced view of my personal abilities. All right, having a realistic view of yourself is a good thing because it helps you to realize that actually you're a human being, you don't know everything, you can make mistakes, and other people have got the right to complain if they feel that you did not treat them well. All right, so that is criticism. And if you have that view, it will help you to be humble enough to receive it. So it's not okay to just be able to give criticism, it's also okay to be able to receive it. So be positive about it. But what we are trying to say, avoid being overly concerned about people criticizing you. Mr. Rakata, welcome to the program. Hello, Mr. Manakata. Guys, can you just please confirm if you can clearly hear me? Those who are watching us, share the video. Please invite those who care about. Mr. Manakata, can you hear me? Good evening. Hello, Mr. Manakata. All right, looks like people are coming through and are unable to having internet challenges. Can we have somebody who has a good connection to join us on the screen, guys? If you want to join the conversation on criticism and how to deal with it, if you want to share your experience, please feel free to click on that link. We are gladly watching Mr. Lusambo. Okay, fantastic, Mr. Mvula. Okay, guys, we need somebody who has a good connection to join us on the screen so we can discuss. Looks like our participants don't have good connection. So there's a link that we have shared in the comments, guys. If you want to join, just click on that link there, and then you can come on board. Then we'll be able to discuss. So let me see. I have a guest. Okay, Mr. Nelson, your speaker is not you're muted. You need to allow in your settings. Go to your phone settings and allow camera and speaker for you to join. Anybody who wants to join, please come on screen. Mr. Busanso, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So what comes to your mind when you hear this word criticism?
Criticism can build you or can destroy you. It depends on the how you get it, how you
Yes.
handle it. But the best thing is to accept the criticism, and in that way it can build you. But if you want to feel that you are better off, and people are criticizing you along, then it can destroy you. But if you think that you can build on the criticism, then it can build you.
Indeed. Indeed. Indeed, that is very true. So, Mr. Sanso, when you are criticized, how do you handle criticism? What do you do when you are criticized? What do you do?
Because of the work I do, most of the time I'll try to see the areas which I can work on, and in that way it can I appreciate so much people criticize me because they build me up. Sorry, they build me up, and
Indeed.
I work on that one. But if I see a person criticizing me and I think it's wrong, then in that way it will bring me down. But I have to get a positive or negative thing on that. There is a positive part when someone is criticizing you, and there's also a negative part. So you have to go in like 50-50.
Yeah.
You accept the criticism and you work on it, and you accept and you don't, and sometimes you just brush it off where things are not making sense.
Indeed. So from the business aspect, what is the likely potential of criticism if your clients are criticizing you? What is the impact on your business?
I can't get you. Can you repeat the question?
So from the business point of view, when you have clients criticizing you, what is the potential impact of that, and how would you deal with that?
From the business point, it's very good because it will destroy you. But if you are getting criticism from either clients or friends, it will build you. Because most of the time, people prefer to get praises in business than criticism. But in business, it's better to get criticism than praises. Because people praise you, they are praising you maybe for the favors which you give them, not for what your business is doing.
Indeed.
But if people are criticizing you, then
we lost Mr. Sanso. Let's get back to Mr. Mvula. Mr. Mvula, good evening and welcome to the program.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Lusambo. It's wonderful to be on this platform this evening.
Indeed, I'm happy to have you here, Mr. Mvula. Mr. Mvula, we are discussing criticism and how to do with it in relation with business as well as a person. I wanted to just get your view of this word. What comes to your mind when you hear the word criticism?
Well, criticism is something that's attached to a lot of factors. One of them is psychological, which if we were to do much on it, it's got a lot of impact. At the end of it, there are a lot of issues to do with anxiety. So criticism can be positive and negative. So at the end of the day, as an individual, if you are subjected to criticism, you have to question yourself. Is the criticism that's being subjected to me positive or negative? So if it's positive, then it's time to open your mind for you to be teachable or to be an individual that's able to learn. But if the criticism is negative, then it is high time for you to realize that, in this world that we live in this corporate world that we live in this world that we live in, due to the fact that we are in a community where there is interaction, people have got dynamics in terms of thought, in terms of how they react to different issues. And so they are prone and bound to react differently. You don't expect them to support whatever it is that you support, They are going to react differently based on their impulse, their understanding, their cultural values, and how they've been brought up. So criticism will always be there because you are in an environment where there are a lot of different people with different dynamics, different cultural values. But at the end of the day, for me, my perception and my major point is how you define yourself as an individual. So there comes a point in time as an individual where you need to redefine yourself as an individual in terms of aligning your purpose to whatever it is that you are doing. And once you do that as an individual, it makes it quite easier for you to be in a place where if you receive negative criticism, it does not lower your self-esteem or your energy levels for you to do whatever it is that you are targeting to do to achieve your intended goal. So just basically to sum everything up with regards to criticism, I would say criticism, as I have always been emphasizing, criticism will always be there. But if you know what you have signed up for, and if what you have signed up for is bound to produce tangible and positive results, criticism is not going to narrow you down. It's not going to lead you to depression or anxiety. Because at the end of the day, you really know what you want to achieve at the end of the day. And you already know your lane. So even when people criticize you, you will not step out of your lane. So basically, for me, that's how you can deal with negative criticism. But with positive criticism, I feel it's high time. Every time we realize that we have to be teachable, not to put ourselves in a scenario where we feel or think we know it all. Because the moment we think and feel we know it all, we close ourselves to opportunities to learn new and big ideas that can transform us into being at a static level to a level where we begin to walk bigger strides than we were walking previously. So for us to be in a position of growth continuously, we ought to be teachable. And if we are teachable, I don't think even criticism, which is positive, is going to look as a challenge to us, because most often we tend to confuse these two: positive criticism and negative criticism. So my take on criticism basically might sum on those points that I highlighted, Mr. Lusambo.
Indeed, indeed. I think that's fantastic. I like what you've mentioned when you say it's not all right to let criticism put you off the rail. You know, you have a trajectory that you're supposed to head to, and then of course you'll be criticized, but it's always a good way not to allow criticism to move you out of your track. I think that's fair. So as a businessman, Mr. Mvula, are there specific steps that you've taken yourself that has really helped you to stand your grounds even when you're being criticized? Because I'm aware, I'm also a businessman. Sometimes I'm criticized heavily, and sometimes, like you mentioned, criticism may cause a lot of stress and anxiety because you don't know what to expect. If people criticize you in business, you don't know whether they're going to come back and deal with you again. You know,
Yeah.
it's very stressful. Yes. So, are there specific things that you've
Steps I've
done?
taken. Well,
to help you.
To help me. Well, basically, I think it's an issue of maturity and understanding. At the end of the day, you realize that if you develop an understanding that a client is not your friend, then basically it helps you know how to react whenever they don't act the way you expect them to act. Because in most cases, you discover that clients have got different moods, and the way they come at you sometimes isn't respectful. So if you don't realize or accept the fact that the client isn't your friend, but is someone that you are there to trade with professionally with regards to delivering a service or a product to highest of standards or expected standards, then it's going to help you maintain your composure. Because, you know, in most cases, these clients, as I earlier mentioned, some of them are frustrated and they'll try to baggage you with their frustration. But with understanding, you realize that even when they're using words that are not respectful, you maintain your composure. You just treat them as clients, not as relatives whom you are bound to take offense whenever they say something that's worth getting on your nerves. So basically, that's my step. An aspect of applying understanding, maturity, applying patience, and treating a client as a client professionally, without attaching any emotional value to whatever it is that they say and how they behave towards me.
Indeed. I think that's fantastic, Mr. Mbul. And
Yeah.
that's just awesome, partly because we sometimes treat clients as if they are our relatives. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that reminder is also a powerful one. Remembering that this one is a client. It's not my dad. It's not my mom. Not my brother. My sister. It's a client. The
Exactly.
relationship
It's a
that
client.
we have is professional. So understanding that you are in this relationship because of value addition
of
may also
business.
save
Yeah,
you a lot of stress. Yes, I think that's fantastic.
exactly. It does. It simply
Thank you so
does.
much, Mr. Mvula. Please, you may stay. You may stay along. Let me just I'll get back to you again. Let me get back to Mr. Elijah. We have Mr. Elijah on the screen. We may just
All right.
unmute
Thank
for
you.
us, Mr. Mvula. Indeed, I'll still ask you
Okay.
another question. Mr. Elijah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. So it's an evening. We're just trying to share knowledge on dealing with criticism, and we're waiting for Mr. Mvula, who says sometimes that it requires maturity and understanding that
Yes.
this one I'm dealing with is not my family, is a client, and as such, that's the thing that exists. So treating a client as a client helps you not to be overly anxious or overly stressed when you're being criticized. What's your take on criticism,
Yes.
Mr. Elijah?
Criticism, being an expression of disapproval of something or someone. And
Yes.
as a business person, you cannot overlook and you cannot let go of criticism. Critics
Yes.
will always be there in business.
Yes.
But if you want to grow, if you want to prosper, if you want to succeed in business, you must not you must not give a deaf ear to criticism. Criticism can come both in a negative and a positive way.
Yes.
If you give a listening ear to negative criticism, in some ways, it might make you grow and succeed. In some cases, it might drain you off completely and fail to succeed in business. How you can manage this criticism in business by balancing yourself as in business because of the way we carry ourselves and do things. So it is very important as an individual to balance your work life. Thank you. That's my take on criticism, sir.
Indeed, I think I like the fact that you've mentioned that if you give a deaf ear to criticism, you might go down as a business person because in business, criticism is inevitable. Even in marriage, sometimes you may be criticized by your best friend. It's not that they think you're a wicked man or you're a wicked person. No, sometimes just because they see the need for you to improve and do better.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I like that point where you're saying it can
Exactly.
either build you or destroy you depending on how you react. So as a person, Mr. Elijah, when you are criticized, have you been criticized before heavily?
Yeah, I have.
So what has been helping you to stand your ground? You know, there are sometimes when
Yes, I have.
you know you're not wrong. You know you're not wrong, but this person criticizes you, and sometimes they may, clients may even tell their friends, "I don't do business with this one because it's like this," because of something they're not happy with,
Yes,
and
that's
then
true.
they, I'm not in the wrong here, but this person is making a big deal out of nothing. How do you deal with such situations? You know you're not in the wrong, but somebody's criticizing you unnecessarily and maybe even telling other clients not to do business with you. So how do you handle that? All
Yeah.
right.
When it comes to criticism and standing your ground, you have to set principles for yourself. As a business person, and you are dealing with clients. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Indeed.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much for
Thank you
that.
so much. Thank you so much. Well, as
Indeed.
a business person who is facing a lot of criticism, you're hearing a lot of things from different people. one of the set aspects you must set is you must be genuine in whatever you are doing. Being genuine as a person in business will make you, or rather will make clients believe in you. Even if there are other people that can be passing through negative critics about you and your business, but they will still stand their grounds because you have maintained that genuinity between you and those clients. Secondly,
Indeed.
you have to know your worth as a person in business. As me, I have to know my worth. It's not every time that I should respond to critics from people. It's not every time that I must support.
Oh yeah. I think I got that
To my
point.
business. But yes, that's it, sir.
Thank you so very much. I think I like that point where Mr. Elijah is saying that it's not all the time that you have to feel the need to respond. Imagine it's like you're walking on the road and then dogs are barking around, you know. If you're the guy that stops every time to throw a stone, you won't get very far because you'll be delayed, you know. So when dogs are barking sometimes in the night, you're going home, you just keep walking, you know, let the dogs bark. And there's a saying that I like in every grouping of 5 people, there will always be one fool who will criticize you for just simply being nice. So you cannot always stop to throw stones at the dogs that are barking. So it's not to mean that critics is about dogs, but I'll give an example of, imagine you're walking on the road and then dogs are barking at you. Then you are the guy that is always turning around to throw stones at dogs. Of course, you and dogs are not at the same level, obviously. Dogs are barking at you because they look at you as a threat, you know, to their territory.
Exactly.
So the dogs begin to bark at you. Not that you're a bad person. You're just somebody who's walking along the road, and then dogs see the dogs see you. They begin to bark at you. So you have to know that these dogs are just trying to protect their territory. Maybe they are afraid of me. So what do? Keep going. Don't keep throwing stones at them. I think that's a good one, Mr. Elijah. I think I did appreciate for that one. So like I was saying earlier, you know, usually when we are criticized, we become stressed. And when we are stressed, we don't concentrate so much on that which is important. And you know, stress has potential of preventing us from becoming more productive because we are stressed. It's like when you are stressed either at work or at home or at school or whatever that is that you're doing, it's going to affect your productivity, but also your creativity because the brain does not function very well under stress. You know, so you want to avoid being over stressed. Accept also your weaknesses as a person. That look, okay, fine. As a businessman, I've been criticized. What can I do better? If you see that they need to improve, be honest enough to improve. But again, sometimes people criticize you and they'll say things about you based on how they are themselves. Sometimes people will tell you things about you which will reflect who they are. Not necessarily that that's what you are, that's who they are. But they have no way of expressing themselves other than picturing it into someone else. So it's important to have a realistic view of criticism, you know, because whether you do something or you don't do something, either way you'll be criticized. So the most important thing is to keep doing the right thing, what you truly believe in your heart, that this is the right thing to do. Because whether you do it or don't do it, there will always be somebody who will criticize you. Yeah, so we don't want to be overly stressed. Stress can result into a lot of illnesses. You know, we have people having BP, depression, even committing suicide, becoming less productive, having lower self-esteem. So it's okay. All of us get criticized. Last month, Mr. Elijah had a student who called me, and of course, she was not happy about what happened. She paid for a revision class, and then unfortunately, I fell sick. I was in a hospital. I couldn't lecture. So this lady felt mistreated. She used some language which was not very much nice. She was upset and things like that. So what I did when I got better, after some time, I decided to call the student and talk to her, apologize. We actually even arranged to have lunch together. Yeah, as a way of just making up, because I knew I sat down. Okay, I felt okay. I know I was sick. I was in the hospital. But if I was a student writing an exam, I pay somebody to lecture me, and then they fall sick. How would I feel? You know. So I put myself in this student's shoe, and I felt okay, fine. Maybe she had a point. She felt that maybe she wasted money. So I asked that we have lunch together, and obviously we started again on a very, very good foot, partly because I was able to realize my mistake. That okay, fine, I was sick, but this other person also was writing an exam. They needed my services, so they paid for services. Sometimes you have to see things from the point of view of the other person, not your own point of view. Did I fall sick because I wanted to fall sick? No. Have you seen her? But the other person also was expecting a service because they paid for it. Have you seen? So
Yes.
sometimes being able to accept that okay, I'm a human being, I have my own limitations. That also can be able to help us to move forward and avoid being overly stressed. So we have a comment coming through from Mr. Tawina Mulaila, who says, "Good evening, Mr. Sambu. Thank you so much for this program. I like the point mentioned that we need to keep an open AA as business. Is it every time that I'm supposed to keep it open, or there are times when we can keep them closed? Ignore. If so, in what circumstances can I do so? Keep my business going. Thank you." So this is the point that was raised by Mr. Elijah. So Mr. Elijah, you have a question from Mr. Tawi now says, you mentioned about being able to have an open ear to criticism. It's a good thing for business. So he's asking you, at what point am I supposed to shut down my ear to criticism? Hello, Mr. Elijah, are you there? All right. Okay. It seems we have lost Mr. Elijah. The network is a bit maybe unstable. So what we are saying, Mr. Tauda, that keeping an open eye. Okay. Yes, he's back. Yes, Mr. Elijah, you've seen your question.
Oh yes. I'm trying to read through the question right now.
Yes. So Mr.
Okay,
Tauda
I
is
like the
asking you
point
that.
mentioned that we. I
So he's
think
asking.
I would ask if it can be broken down in parts, because I'm saying that's a long question as one, but
Yes.
there's need for it to be broken in parts so that we can answer it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Mulaila, the first question is it every time that I'm supposed to keep it open, or there are times when we can keep them closed? It's very important, as Elia said, that you need to open ear and eyes to criticism, but you must always be on guard. You must always keep your ears on the ground and eyes on the road, because out of whatsoever critics you're going to hear, there are certain critics that are going to build you out of what you're going to hear. There are certain critics that are going to uplift you and help you succeed in your business as you are going. So it is very much important that you always keep your ears and your eyes open. But there are instances, there are situations where you play a deaf ear. For instance, if negative criticism that is coming is against your ethics, or rather your code of conduct of a business, yeah, in that case, you can close to listen. It is true. I think this is true. There's need for you to listen to that, and come on, you need to change over certain things.
Indeed.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elijah. I think that's wonderful. So, Mr. Elijah has confirmed that there are times you need to have your ears open, eyes on the road, so that you can get criticism and be able to analyze it. So the key here is that when you criticize, sit yourself down before you react. Ask yourself: is it really true that there's a way I could have done better? Is it really true that I messed up? Is it really true that this other person has a point? Now, here's the issue. From my observation, usually most people, they focus on how the person criticizing them is coming out. So what you're trying to advise is that don't focus so much on the tone of the voice of somebody who's criticizing you or how they are coming out. Because sometimes when somebody is criticizing you, they may not come to you smiling, you know. Strong language may be used. So imagine if your house was on fire and then somebody comes and tells you, hey, you fool, your house is on fire, you are here. Are you going to say, don't tell me fool? No, you don't care about the word fool. All you care about is the point your house is on fire. You have to stand up and run, go and quench that fire. You see? So sometimes we want to focus on the point, not how somebody's bringing it out. Because there are some people who are bad at receiving criticism because they focus on how the person telling them is coming out. So focusing on who is saying it is going to prevent you from seeing the point they're trying to communicate. So it's important that you focus on the point someone is communicating to when they're criticizing you. What is the point? Even though the language may be not so sweet, but focus on the point. That will help you to see whether you messed up or not. But sometimes there are people who are just jealous of you. There are people who are just bitter in life because they have failed in certain areas. They feel you are doing better than them, and then they become bitter. They begin to criticize you. So sometimes identify such ones and distance yourself from such people. Yeah, I think that was the answer. Thank you so much, Mr. Manakata. So we have Ben Mwanza who says, evening boss, good points. Somebody's projecting your points there. We have evening, Mr. Mwanza, it's good to see you. We have Nelson Mukuka who says, this is indeed very nice topic. Too bad couldn't join, or we are sorry about that. So we have Mr. Nelson again who says, what are some of the positive things that can come from rival competitors' criticism? Is there genuine criticism? So, Mr. Elijah, would you take the first one? What are some of the points that can come from rival competitors' criticism? What do you think? All right. Okay. I'm not sure, Mr. Elijah can hear. So I'll take that one. So, Mr. Nelson, indeed, from my business perspective, when you have a rival competitor and is criticizing you, that may not be very much a realistic criticism, partly because the person criticizing you is your competitor, and your competitor is focusing on your weaknesses. So sometimes your competitor may use your weaknesses to sell their products, like politicians. When a politician is campaigning, they don't say good things about the other opponent because they are direct competitors. But sometimes when you are being criticized by your competitor and they are using your weaknesses, that's a plus for you because you are going to know you have a weakness. Now that somebody who's in competition with you is criticizing you, so you know you have a weakness. So now identify that weakness and work on it, improve it. Yeah. So it says, is there genuine criticism? Yes, there is. There are some people who care genuinely about you, and then they are going to call you, sit you down, and then tell you, you know what, Nelson, I like your work, I like what you're doing, but it would also be nice if you did A, B, C, D. Sometimes people will just criticize you constructively because they want you to grow genuinely. So it's important to also be realistic, not to see every critic as a negative one or somebody being jealous of you. No, be open-minded, be realistic. Know when criticism is being genuine and when it's not being genuine, when it's being hateful. You have to know the difference. Yeah, I think that's what we can say about that. We have another commenter, Benny Monza says, how about soliciting criticism? What if you are getting only positive reviews? Can that even be more worrying? Yes, I'll tell you an example of a guy who is loaded. When you have money, when you have money, a certain measure of money, but also not just money, also when you are in a position of oversight, maybe you are the superior at a place of work, it is very hard for your juniors to criticize you. So more often than not, they begin to appreciate you. See, when the president stands to dance, ministers will stand up and dance with him. People will clap for him because he's the president. Even if they don't know how to dance, people are going to dance with him and clap for him because he's the president. So there's this natural inclination for us human beings of wanting to make those who are in authority to feel good about us. Those we hold in high regard to feel good about us. So there's a point in Mr. Benny's comment when he says, what if you are getting only positive reviews? It is a good thing that somebody is appreciating what you're doing, but also as a business person, sit yourself down. Is it really true that I deserve the reward? Is it really true that I did a job so good that somebody can come and appreciate me? It's important because sometimes when you're in a position of oversight, you may not even know when you're going wrong because everybody wants to be close to you. They like you. Maybe you're a nice man, or maybe you're loaded somewhere, you have cash, so everybody wants to tell you nice things. No one wants to criticize you. Yeah. I personally was in a position to employ people and also to fire people. So I experienced how some people at a place of work may just want to be close to you because you're their superior. They want to tell you nice things. They want to care for everything you do. That is very worrisome. This is why you see some people when they are leaving home, they ask somebody, "How do I look?" They say, "You look nice." But they go and ask someone independent also, "How do I look?" Because partly they feel that the people at home may be biased. They may say you look good when they don't look good sometimes, especially those that you are in love with. Yeah. So it's important that when you are getting positive reviews, also try to do your due diligence. Find out from independent people using a third-party story how you can get information about what you're doing, whether you're doing well or not. And sometimes you may conduct blind surveys where like what happens in schools. Sometimes you may be able to give students a list of things to tick. Don't add your names, just tick about this lecturer whether he's doing fine or not. Then students will begin to tick. No names should be added so that they will be free to express themselves. Because sometimes positive reviews could be worrisome. But also, positive reviews are a good thing. What if you're just doing it right and people are happy with it? It's okay. Enjoy the moment. Yeah, enjoy the moment. So indeed, there are good things about criticism, but also there are also bad aspects. But all in all, we are saying that whether you do something or you don't do something, there will always be somebody who criticizes you. So do what you truly believe is the right thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, just to add on that.
Yes, Mr. S.
Yeah. So whatever you do in life, you always be criticized, and it's very important to do some self-assessment of yourself. Yes. You are the true reflection of yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else may look at you at an angle. So sit yourself down, write down those positive critiques that people are saying about you. Start reflecting and assess yourself on each and every positive critic that you hear. Assess yourself. Okay, am I worth this positive critic that I'm hearing? From there, you'll be able to know, saying, okay, this one is only criticizing me positively because he's benefiting something from me. At times, people always criticize you positively because there's something they're benefiting from you. It will feel awful if I'm benefiting something from you, then I come with a negative critic. Definitely, I would feel, or rather, you'd feel like I've broken your spirit in some way. Thank you.
Indeed, I think that's a wonderful point. Huh? So what is important is also when you're offering criticism, if you happen to be in a position to criticize somebody, please be honest about it. Don't use feelings. Let's be constructive, because we are encouraging constructive criticism, not hateful criticism, where you just don't like somebody because of the way they look or because of how nice they did something that you couldn't do better. Then you feel you're bad. When I was in school, I had a guy who stopped talking to me, but simply because I was always the highest in that class, and he was always the second guy from me. So he never liked me. He wouldn't talk to me. He would just be upset. I was even scared of this guy. It's like I offended him big time. He didn't like the fact that he was number two. So there are such people even in business. When you do fine, they don't like it. It might interest you to know that in some accounting groups I have been blocked by some admins, not because I violated any rule, no, partly because they don't want me to advertise my services in their group. So you find that they will block you. You post something, they don't share it today. They share it maybe after 2 days when you've posted. Yeah, until one of the colleagues told me, you know what, I found that your name has been blocked in this group. Why have you been blocked? One of the admins from the same group there's Zika, lots of groups for Zika. So that do Zika. There are lots of groups. So I found that there are some admins also do tuitions. So when they see a competitor like me come on board, they block me so that people don't see my services. So I said, no, but why would somebody block me? So they blocked my page. They blocked my personal account, and I can't share things in a lot of in some of the accounting groups where the admins who also do tuitions, you know. So I just take it, okay, fine. There'll always be somebody who won't be happy with your business, but find ways of advertising yourself, find ways of coming out and see that you know that you come up. So it's important that also, like you said, Mr. Malakata, that sit yourself down, assess yourself. So bottom line, as we go home, guys, what we want to take home is that when you are being criticized, having a good attitude is also a good thing. Don't have an inflated view of yourself, thinking that you are the best. That will prevent you from learning from other people. All of us mess up. Suck it up and move on sometimes, all right? Accept that you are wrong. Don't defend yourself. Just move on. It's okay. It's okay to look vulnerable sometimes, you know? It's all right. Yeah, it's okay. So don't lose confidence because you are being criticized. Just suck it up and move on. Say, okay, fine, I've messed up. I know I'm an idiot. I'm moving on. You move on. And just see how you can do better next time. It's all right. All of us get that on a daily basis. If we pay the attention to every single critic, we won't go far. Like we are saying earlier, if you're moving on the road, the dogs will see you. They will look at you as a threat. They will begin to bark at you. So you can't be throwing stones. You won't get area where you're going. So just keep going. Yeah. So I think for tonight we are very grateful for all of you who joined us. And Mr. Managata, thank you so much for your participation. It's been wonderful. I really appreciate. So we hope that somebody out there who's going through criticism has been helped to see that it's okay to be criticized. You're not perfect. You are not an expert in everything. Somebody will not be happy about what you're doing. That's what we call life. Accept the good, also accept the bad. It's all right. Move on. Yeah. Any last words, Mr. Elijah, before we go? Any last words?
Well,
all right. Looks like we lost.
I've enjoyed and I've learned something.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Thank you so much. Our viewers, we appreciate for your support. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Please join us on Sunday. We are discussing a very nice topic on how to start a chicken business from the scratch up to the very end, 21 hours. So we are going to bring a chicken farmer on Sunday, 21 hours. We are going to discuss how to start the chicken business from the scratch up to the very end. We are going to discuss all the costs that are involved. Cost number one up to cost number last, the very end. We're going to discuss all the meds you need to know, the vaccines you need to know, also how to make sure that you do a successful chicken business. This is a very profitable business, guys, that you don't want to miss. So join us on Sunday, 21 hours. We have a special guest here who's going to feature with a chicken farmer to help us see how we can invest in chicken business. It is very profitable. I learned a lot today when I visited this friend of mine at his residence. Thank you so much, guys. Have a very good night. May God bless you. We'll see you when you see me. Bye-bye.